OffBeat Sports Podcast presented by Celsius.
It's been a tale of two seasons for the Boston Celtics.
I probably aged about 10 years just from that series.
I'd probably compare myself to just a younger, smarter, more handsome, stronger Michael Jordan.
Let's go Celtics. Go Patriots.
These are guys who, when you give them a bowl of Cheerios in the morning, they finish every last drop of milk.
Absolute clown over here.
I'm ready when you are, baby.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to OffBeat Sports Podcast presented by. Today we are joined by Sloane. She has just started her own podcast called Sloane Knows. She's doing really well over there, so we're going to have her hop on and talk NBA awards predictions with us. So we're happy to have her. Thanks, Sloane.
Welcome, Sloane.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, so I'm Sloane. I'm 15 years old, and I'm a huge NBA fan. And I always felt like I didn't look like the average NBA fan, or I maybe didn't act like one, being like a teenage girl, I'm not like most NBA fans. So I was like, it'd be super cool if I could come in with a different perspective and, still be able to talk about who I think the hottest player is, but also who I think the best player is. And the mix of it really works. So yeah, I started a podcast. It's called Sloane Knows. I also have a TikTok and Instagram, and yeah, it's been pretty fun. I've been lucky enough to interview some NBA players, and it's been awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, good for you. So let's get into it. We're going to start with Rookie of the Year. It's a big one. I know there's some straightforward names out there, but Sloane, what do you got for us? Who's your pick for Rookie of the Year?
So I'm going to go with Benedict Mathurin. Yes, I feel that this may come off unpopular. The reason why I say this is I know we all think Paolo. I know everyone thinks that. But I don't see how a Rookie of the Year could be on the Magic. They're just so bad. And I really feel that almost anyone would shine on the Magic. Whereas the Pacers right now are 7th in the East. So, and there's other options. It's not like, whereas in Orlando, Paolo's the first option, but on the Pacers, there's Tyrese Halliburton, there's other guys. And Ben Mathurin has still allowed himself to shine, which I think at least this early in the season is what's really made him deserve Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he's 6-man. So actually, that's my pick as well. So I'm a huge Arizona guy. That's the college I kind of root for some reason, just kind of random. But big Lauri Markkanen guy. But I have his jersey over there. I wore that last one. But yeah, Benedict, I agree. I'm a huge fan of his game. I watched him last year in the tournament. 20.7 points, not bad. He's putting up some pretty good shooting numbers. So I know, Harry, you're rocking with Paolo, aren't you?
I can't knock Big Ben. He's been playing great, and just watching him actually go out there and put up points and do good for a team that has like a decent surrounding base. It's hard not to be like, oh, he's a clear shot, but it's Paolo. Like give him Sloane, you said it's the Magic. They suck anyways, but
yeah.
Give him time. It will show why he was there.
I do think we have to give him and Jalen Suggs some credit. They beat the Warriors, and Steph Curry had 39 points. That's pretty hard to do no matter who you are, especially for Paolo, his first year in the NBA, and Jalen, I feel like this is his first real year considering like his injury last year. So, it is impressive. So I don't doubt that he has a very bright future. I just don't think this award is his.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. I like the sleeper pick of Benedict too.
Also, it would be chess, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But if he was,
I like the pick of Benedict, but especially since he's playing 7 less minutes than Paolo, and he's putting up almost as many points, not as many rebounds, but Paolo's a bigger guy and like close to the same amount of assists and the other kind of stats. And he's doing it all with less minutes and coming off the bench and not being the focus player on his team. So I think that's super impressive. And nothing to skip over.
And especially the name Benedict. That's insane.
It's like losing to Doctor Strange. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So we can get right into the Coach of the Year. For me personally, I like JB Bickerstaff of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think that's just that's a fun team to watch right now. Great on defense, great on offense. They just got a nice balance, and I really like what he's done with them. So that's my pick right now. Obviously it'll change throughout the year, but I'm really impressed with how Cleveland's playing.
Yeah, I agree with that. But my pick is Monty Williams of the Suns. And though I know that he's won in the past, the reason for this is because before the season, I think many basketball extraordinaires talked about how they thought that like the Suns dynasty or lack thereof of a dynasty sort of has closed. They weren't going to make it to the finals again. Like they didn't win a ring. They just weren't going to win a ring. It just didn't work. And I think everyone hated on them before the season. And Monty Williams has showed that like they're first in the West year in, year out. And like, I think that that's impressive. And yeah, I think that he then deserves it.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about the Suns. I mean, they're winning right now, but I don't know if they'll sustain it for the whole season.
I mean, the West, I don't think is that strong right now. I think
it's definitely weaker than
Warriors
these.
Yes.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of weird stuff going on. And so hence, I guess the Suns have just been less weird than everyone else. But by All-Star break, I don't think that they're gonna.
They'll all even out.
I mean, they also lost to an Australian team, but I think if I were to go with a coach of the year, I'd probably go with Taylor Jenkins of the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have a great core. I mean, obviously, yes, it's all surrounded by or all pushed towards John Morant, which I mean, it makes sense. You have one of the most athletic and dominant players on the court right now. You're gonna build your team around him. But I think he did a fantastic job of doing that. Last year, I think he definitely made a case for it, but he just didn't have the structure the other teams had built up for them last year. I think the Grizzlies go on a tear this year. I think he's very deserving of it. He's made a great core around the star player that he wanted. I don't think it's out of reach to say he'll get it. One thing I would say they have to get up is definitely their shooting percentages. They're shooting pretty low from 3 right now at 38. 24 assists per game isn't bad either. He's keeping the team just steady with ball movement. I think they have a chance. I think he has a chance.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And like, Jaren Jackson Jr. is still hurt. And when he comes back, I mean,
yes, that's
the young core of the Grizzlies is pretty insane. And like the things that Ja can do with the basketball is scary to think about.
Yes.
And I think in general, the Grizzlies have such a bright future. So if he doesn't win Coach of the Year this year, it's coming for sure.
Oh, it's definitely coming. And with Jaren Jackson, how actually good of an athlete he is, he just hasn't gotten to actually prove it yet because he has John Morant doing everything.
No,
they're definitely a team to be feared later on in the year.
You can tell that's a well-coached team too. They got a nice offensive scheme, nice defensive scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell the cohesiveness of the team. And
they play great together.
Yeah, I credit a lot of cohesiveness to a coach and a leader as a leader on that team or of a team. So I think that's a really good. I think it's a really good pick. I'm still rocking with my guy Bickerstaff though.
Yeah. I also think that the Grizzlies, so many guys shine that otherwise wouldn't. And I think that that's, again, something that you have to credit to the coach. Like Dylan Brooks, Brandon Clark, like those guys would not be.
Brandon Clark especially.
And Brandon Clark has like a lot of confidence, which is something that I think a coach sort of like inscribes in you. And the fact that like Dylan Brooks is able to like go up and get a flagrant 2 against the Warriors, I think sort of is something in a coach that like he sort of shows on his team this confidence that's really cool to see that the second unit is able to have that.
And I feel like Dylan Brooks was pretty mad before this kind of like this entry of this emergence of the Grizzlies last year.
I mean, look at the whole team. They were all like, man. I mean, even Desmond Bane, he was.
Well, Desmond Bane was a rookie last year.
I mean, Desmond Bane is crazy. The fact that
and
he's put on some serious muscle. It is insane how
to go to 24.6 per game through the first 10 games. That's a solid thing. And I mean, if there's one thing I kind of want to say about this team, Steven Adams' career as a just defensive unit has definitely like revived itself from the days on the Thunder. I just think the team's really well put together. I don't think there's a world he doesn't at least get top 3 in Coach of the Year standings.
Agreed. Yeah, for sure.
So I think we can get into the DPOY Defensive Player of the Year conversation. This one's, I feel like, is pretty murky to start the year.
This one's tough.
This one is definitely tough, but I'm going to go with the guy with the highest defensive rating, Giannis. I mean, he's a clear pick. He's always a scary guy to go up against defensively. He's averaging a steal per game, block and a half per game, and those stats will only get better as the year goes on. He's so good defensively. He's a clear pick. I don't know if he'll win it just because like he's up for so many awards, but I really like him defensively.
So Giannis is my pick too for the same reasons, but I always just like to bring up Draymond. And the reason why I always like to bring up Draymond is because as someone who watches every single Warriors game, the stuff that he does is special. It's no one else in the league has that sort of like defensive IQ that he has. He's so smart off the ball. He forces travels, he forces double dribbles, stuff that like I can't even process in my head that sort of he's able to do, which I think is so impressive. And he just doesn't get enough love. He really is one of the best defenders of all time. And I really think that especially this year, because of how poor the Warriors defense is doing so far, if Draymond is able to really become a leader and get those sort of younger guys like Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga to step up their defensive games and allows James Wiseman to sort of learn how to defend without fouling, sort of in that leadership role, I think he could also emerge in Defensive Player of the Year category.
I really like Draymond, and that's definitely a sleeper pick for this year. He's just he'd be a candidate every year if it wasn't for voter fatigue. He really would.
Yeah.
He's such a fantastic defender.
I think it's sort of similar to Steph in the MVP category. Like every year, technically, you could give the award to Steph. It would be boring, but technically, there is a group of people every year that will believe that Draymond is the best defender and Steph is the best player. So that's like me. Woohoo, go Warriors.
Cross, I think you're just reading off of our cheat sheet and taking all our answers.
Hey,
but anyways,
I read mine years before. These are honest picks.
Okay, we're just two great basketball minds. We think.
I know, right?
That's okay. I like thinking outside the box, but I'll take it.
Harry always takes odd picks.
Monty Williams, that's a sleeper take.
Yeah. See, so this might be a sleeper. I really, really wanted to go with Robert Williams. Like, really badly wanted to go with Robert Williams. I didn't because one, Smart won it last year, so I don't really think they're going to give it to another Celtics player. I very much so think he deserves it. I think he's a fantastic defensive player, definitely top 3 in the league.
That's cool.
He also hasn't played yet.
Yeah, that's cool. Another thing. Okay. That's another thing. It's all about, can he stay healthy? So I went with the safer pick. I went with Jared Allen. Jared Allen is kind of like the whole core for the Cavaliers defense. It kind of all revolves around like him being the one like last line of defense, and he plays his role really, really well. I don't think there's much that he doesn't do for the team that doesn't get them somewhere offensively afterwards, whether it's setting picks or just getting an easy block or just forcing a pickup. So something as simple as forcing a pickup now changes what the trajectory of the pass. That allows for quick transition offense. And he's kind of like the core center of that defensive squad right there. I kind of just like how he fits with their scheme. I think he's a lot better for them than their backup, Robin Lopez. I do think that Giannis makes a better play for it, but I do want to see Jared Allen get at least somewhere close to it. So I went with Jared Allen just because I think he deserves it for who he is in the league right now.
Yeah. Okay, I know I'm the one getting interviewed, but my interviewer has to come out for one.
Okay,
wait. So I'm confused. If you think Robert Williams III is a top 3 defender in the NBA, who are your other 2? Like, how I don't see. Maybe that's just because my mind is so Warriors, not Celtics.
Well, I have to go with. I obviously have to go with Marcus Smart because he's the reigning DPOY, right? He's got to be top 3, right? You can't just forget that he's. No,
I'm not saying. Player. Okay, Marcus Smart, I guess.
Okay, and then Giannis.
Mikal Bridges, Draymond Green. I feel like there's
Smart won it over Bridges last year.
Yeah, and I feel like
Smart that I'm confused about. It's sort of the Robert Williams III thing, but
I gotta say, if Robert Williams played all last year, he would have won it. He was the anchor of our defense last year. He was better defensively when he played than Smart, and Smart's my favorite player in the league. And that's
Sloane, I challenge you. I challenge you for when he gets back. I challenge you to watch at least 5 Celtics games consecutively and focus strictly on Robert Williams on defense and watch how he changes the game compared to him without him on the court. I promise you, huge difference. Huge difference.
He's honest.
I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted what I think.
I think he's a better Rudy Gobert because he's able to guard perimeter
agree.
players. He's able to block just as effectively, like block shots, and he affects shots more than anyone. But
We saw him
that's
go
just,
toe to toe with Giannis.
I wouldn't say
and
he's
hold his own.
I wouldn't say he's top
I
three.
think you have to tweak that take a little bit by saying he could eventually be
he
a
just
better
needs to be healthy.
player. He is too young to say that. That's very disrespectful.
He's too. I agree.
He needs to be
Cross,
healthy.
I think you're losing your marbles here right now. But
Yeah.
I do agree. I feel like he has a lot more to go. It's kind of like just a young guy situation. A lot shown, still a lot to prove. But I think he definitely has a very high ceiling when it comes to who he is as a player, because right now he has a very good floor for what he does. If he can develop that and kind of push himself outwards a little bit, he could very much so become one of the most dominant centers in the league right now.
Yeah.
So just looking at him as a defensive aspect, especially what he means for our team, it's hard not to put him in that conversation.
Yeah.
But I went with Jared Allen.
Strong.
So let's get into six man. I think Sloane, I know who your six man is going to be.
Really?
I think we all have an idea of
but
what we might be going with.
Let's hear it.
Maybe. Okay. So this player went to Michigan.
So you're gonna beat around the bush for this one. Is that what I'm saying?
You wore number 3 at Michigan. Okay.
Okay.
So on a hot summer day, all I can think about is like taking a nice swim in the pool party because Jordan Poole.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
6th man of the year. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And here's why. Well, okay. I'm gonna put like on my like basketball analyst mind and take off that sort of Warriors helmet for a second and say that Jordan Poole should be the 6th man of the year. Right now, I don't believe that he deserves that. He's actually sort of been horrible. And I think that he's part of the reason why we've been struggling so much, because you just can't leave it all on Steph. And he hasn't been having those games like he was in the finals. He hasn't been having those games like he was in the Nuggets series. He's not stepping up. He's playing well, but he's playing fine, and he's not fine. We've seen his potential. He can be excellent, and he hasn't been that. But I just think as long as he gets his scoring up, and oh my God, his shot selection sometimes makes me so frustrated. But once he improves on that and sort of realizes what his role is as a player and that he is not the star, he is not the first option, my personal opinion, the best basketball player in the world is on his team. And he has to realize that after Steph, after Clay, then it's him. But if you are dribbling up, if there's 17 seconds left on the shot clock, and Steph Curry is open, Jordan, you pass it to Steph Curry. You don't take that shot by yourself. But once he realizes that that's what he's supposed to do, but at some points, that's his opportunity to score, he will be the 6th man of the year. And he has not learned that yet. But he will. I'm telling you.
Now, Cross, can I take this one? Can I take this one?
I'll let you. I have.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I knew this was going to be your pick.
Okay.
And
Yep. I knew too. I could see it. I could see it.
I just love arguing this question.
I do love that you're throwing some good constructive criticism at your hometown hero. But there's one specific thing that you mentioned there, and it's knowing you're not him. There are better players you play with that just do the clutch time better than you, do the scoring better than you, do a lot of things better than you can right now. But there is room to improve. Now, I think when you're looking at 6th man of the year, you need to find someone who truly recognizes the people they play with, the strength that's on their team, and the actual all-star power they have with them to get clutch moments, get easy buckets, get good scores, play good defense, make the clutch play, make the good pass. And it's funny because, back to this classic Warriors Celtics debate, I just think Malcolm Brogdon does it better. I think as a 6th man,
in the 10 games that he's played, you think he does it better?
I do. I really do. I really do. I think he should be starting, but he's going to stay 6th man. And you know what? If he stays 6th man, I think it's an unfair fight. Honestly, I think he just takes it.
So we're gonna go with the homer pick too. I know Harry took this one too, but Malcolm Brogdon is also my pick. He's scoring a little bit less, but I feel like his impact is greater than Jordan Poole's. He has more rebounds, slightly less assists. His shooting splits are are much better than Poole's, and I feel like his upside is a lot better. I feel like Malcolm Brogdon is a guy that is gonna come in and be consistent year in, year out, and he's gonna come in nightly. He's gonna be a scoring threat. Even when his shot's not there, he gets downhill really well. He blows by his guy. I feel like Jordan Poole, when his shot's not there, he starts taking bad shots. And this is why I think Malcolm Brogdon, I think he's my pick. I think he's going to be a great player for the Celtics this year. I've been really impressed because I was like at first I was a little bit like not 100% sold on him as our bench scorer because I hadn't really seen him play before this year all that much. Only when the Celtics played him. And he's really impressed me thus far, and that's why I'm rolling with my guy Brogdon. I'll take it's a homer pick, but I think it's a good pick.
That's fair, and like it's definitely understandable. And I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I want to emphasize on what I was saying about Jordan that once he learns what you were saying, I do believe he will be the win of the year. And I'm saying he's not there yet. Definitely not there yet, but he will be there. And I can feel it because someone's going to just have to knock some sense into him and be like, buddy, you have to get this together. One thing I'd like
I think someone tried doing that.
That is, that I got myself into that. Yeah. The thing I wanted to propose that I don't agree with, but like technically Russell Westbrook is coming off the bench.
So I want to stop you there.
I don't agree with it. I'm saying it exists. It's an idea that many
okay.
believe in.
I saw that one and I was just like,
hear.
I don't know. I saw that. I don't think the Lakers are going to be good enough for him to even be considered, to be honest. I just think like the Lakers can be so atrocious this year. Everyone's going to stay away from them.
I think because recency bias, Jordan Poole is definitely the favorite because of the championship, because of the star power. And recency bias, everybody and their mother hates Russell Westbrook right now.
The Lakers have, in the horrible start to the season they've had so far, in the in the games that he's come off the bench, they have done better to some extent than they had when he started. So I just think that is an interesting thing to think about when you think of the award in itself and sort of what it means. But
I think he's going to end up starting again too, so I'm wary in picking him.
Sure.
I think he's going to be. I hope he doesn't either, but because I think he actually has been pretty good off the bench. But
I think the reason why they're doing better is because he's getting less chances to take those questionable shots. But yeah.
So let's get into most improved. We'll move on to that. So, Sloane, what do you got for most improved? This one's an interesting one for sure. There's a lot of picks here.
Ballpark.
Yeah, I don't really feel like anyone has really proven their point yet, but I guess Jalen Brunson, just because on the Mavs, I think he was sort of a role player and he's moved his way into sort of, I guess, the star category. But there's no clear winner here. I'm not like confident in my pick. It's just what I have so far. And other people could definitely like emerge in this category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm rolling with Tyrese Maxey. As much as I hate the Sixers, I'm rolling with him. I really like him. I actually, when we played the Sixers opening night, I really enjoyed watching him. But he has a higher usage percentage by 7%. He's all his stats have pretty much gone up. He's averaging 7.5 more points than he was, more rebounds, slightly less assists, more steals, higher shooting percentages on more minutes. I mean, he's really kind of stepping into that role as like a third star with Harden and Embiid. And if the Sixers want to be good, I think he's the guy that's going to kind of turn them around.
Yeah.
For me, I'd say it's kind of hard not to choose Tyrese Halliburton just because of the monster year he's having so far. To just show up and immediately just kind of start changing the pace of the game and making the Pacers a relevant team from what he was doing on the Kings, which was little to nothing.
He was on the Kings.
He was okay.
It was very clear he had a brain.
He was a team player. It
wasn't enough. The Kings. The Kings are just so meh, but he still stood out. You could still see that he had a big, like a strong future.
I agree. To an extent, I agree with that. You could see something, but what you were mostly seeing was how he was playing as a team.
Now he's kind of taking on the load of the team and making the team his. Kind of like switching over into De'Aaron Fox's role in his own setting. And I love it. I mean, he's playing phenomenal. Watching him play is making me excited to watch the Pacers. I can't tell you the last time I said that.
Say, yeah.
Yes. I think the last time I thought about
it's
the Pacers
probably the
was
Paul George Pacers.
Oladipo Pacers were pretty good too. I will say they were fun to watch. Fun to watch.
Oladipo had a game winner against us on the Pacers. So
yeah.
I had PTSD from that moment.
It's hard not to go on a little bit of the hype train of, hey, Zion's back. Zion's technically in the most improved category.
Yeah, no, I hate when people do stuff like that. I hate when people misunderstand the idea of what the most improved player is. And I was so vocal on this about Ja getting it last year. The most improved player isn't someone who has a normal progression. Like Ja Morant was the second pick in the NBA draft. Then he was the rookie of the year. Then he was an all-star. Like, that's normal. That's how you're supposed to progress for the second pick. Like, yes, that's not most improved. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. And so, like, yeah, Zion, I mean, that's like, whatever. I agree. I think that that's sort of more when it, like, on the Ja example. But I think that, like, Tyrese Halliburton is also sort of like that. He's had a normal progression. Like, we saw that he was a good rookie from the start. Like, I don't think he's done anything incredible to be like when Julius Randle went from being like a bad player to an all-star, like, that's most improved. He had a crazy jump, but I don't really feel like Tyrese Halliburton has had a crazy jump. He's sort of done everything on the same pattern. Whereas Jalen Brunson, that's more of a jump from being a role player to now a star. See where I'm going with that?
I understand that.
Well, and we also have that argument for the Ben Simmons winning Rookie of the Year, where like he was just injured. Like he was just
say that.
He was just injured. Like, is he really like he was injured, and then like Zion was injured last year, and that's why there's no like there was technically a big jump to this year because now he's a star from not even playing. So like it's just honestly these awards are kind of just getting so like muffled from their real meaning, and that kind of leads into my MVP argument. And where I think Giannis should win it, but he won't because MVP is kind of turned away from biggest impact on a team, like winning, to just whoever has the best stats. And winning doesn't really have any kind of factor as much into the MVP race anymore. And when like a guy like Giannis, who's putting up like great stats and he's winning for his team, versus like a guy like Luka, who I think is going to win because of like how it's interpreted, I think it's concerning because like Luka's team, they'll be like a 4 or 5 seed, like around there. But just because his stats are crazy, he's getting the award versus Giannis, who's almost putting up this like these close stats, but is winning more. I think winning should have more of a thing. So that's my little spiel on the MVP.
I agree 100% on that. My take is also Giannis. Like, I'd like him to win. I think it would be nice. The Bucks are the first seed in the East. Like, it makes sense.
Not for long.
Yes, he's had so many 30-point games in a row, but what has the success rate been for the team? You know, they're not number one in the West because he scored 30 points every game, you know. Steph does that too. So many people do it. And it's exciting because he's new and he's young, but does that mean he's the best player? Does that mean he's the most valuable player? Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sloane, I like your argument.
Okay.
I'm kind of going in the same direction.
Okay.
Because when you look at a team perspective, and you look at the whole core of the team, you try and focus, okay, what's the team built around? Who's the team built around? How do they play according to that player? And we just talked about him and Ja Morant. I think if any year Ja's going to be able to prove that he deserves MVP, this is the year, only because the West is so bad and he has so many games against so many bad teams. If he doesn't make an effort to actually take that final step up the ladder, I think we'll start to see a slow, gradual decline, if not just a plateau, kind of like a AI effect. But I think he makes a very strong claim for it.
I get that, and I actually agree that Ja could be a contender, but you can sort of say the same thing for Luka. He's in the West. It's bad. This is his year to shine, like to win that first MVP. It's sort of the same thing. I feel like Ja needs like 1 or 2 more years to fully like get his grip on really being the most valuable player. He still is very young. Yeah. Like he's not better than Giannis yet. He's just not better than those guys.
Not even close. Not even close.
The time could come where he really is the most valuable player in the league, and it's just not there yet. He needs a few more years.
And I really like Ja, and I think he'll win an MVP at some point. But it's just my concern is Ja going to perform better than a guy like Giannis or a guy like Luka enough? Yeah. He's going to perform enough to make the case that he should be over those guys. And I think eventually there'll be some kind of voter fatigue year where he'll be able to slip in and win it. But like, and Giannis probably won't even win it because of voter fatigue. And they're going to be like, should we give him another one? Like, but like, I just think with all these guys that are making statement years, I mean, obviously all the numbers are inflated like crazy this year because it's like, we're just in the beginning, but like Tatum's having a great start. Donovan Mitchell's having a great start. Like you're having all these guys putting up 30 plus. Like,
I mean, you can argue for Steph. He's been crazy, even though the Warriors haven't been successful.
Yeah. Then again,
for a lot of people.
Then again, on any given night, somebody can drop 40 points. I mean, we literally saw Sadiq Bey drop 50.
I was just going to say that. There's just this modern day NBA is so weird where like everyone is so good that the craziest stuff can happen and anyone can just go off.
Yeah.
So and this is why.
And NBA offenses right now, like whoever like gets hot early, they just go to for the rest of the game. So that it's just there's not a lot of like equal like plateau scoring. It's a lot of like 1 or 2 guys like eating up all the points because of that. So and I think this is just such a murky award right now, just because you never know how they're gonna vote, like because it's just it's kind of crazy like how like a guy like Giannis probably should win every year, and even Jokic could probably be in the conversation again this year, but like he just won two in a row. What are you gonna do? But I mean,
I think one of the big reasons why I still see Ja a little bit over Luka. Obviously, you can't deny Luka's scoring, right? I mean, 36 points per game is kind of insane, but it's a 10-game stretch.
No, that's the thing. Everything is gonna change.
Everything's gonna fall. And at the same time, the Grizzlies are just winning. They have a better team. They're playing better as a team. Yes, Ja's the center focus, kind of like Luka. The problem is the Mavericks aren't winning as much. They're not playing as well as a team. They're not getting back on defense to make that extra effort play. It's just Luka doing it. And I get it. I mean, if you want to talk about value in a player, I get why so many people could be like, oh, Luka Doncic, he does it. He's the most valuable player because of that. But if he's not winning, there's a lot of value that comes to a player when you make your guys want to take that step up to help you win. I think Ja just does that because they like the enthusiasm he brings to the court. They like the enthusiasm he has in the locker room. I think he adds that extra layer to the inside of the team just as much as he adds that 9 layers on the court. Yeah. And I think he makes a strong claim for it. Do I think 100% will go to him? No. But that's why we're doing an awards predictions at the 10-game stretch, because it's fun.
We're so early, anything could happen. I mean,
exactly.
Somebody could tear their ACL tomorrow. Like we don't know. Like,
or you could.
I know. Yeah,
I mean, you could look back,
to say, but like anything could happen. Like you never know what happens.
Also, like just to look at it this way, like yes, the Warriors have had such a horrible start to the season, and I'm not trying to be like
it's the Warriors
fan, but like we know that this isn't going to continue. Like I don't know, the Warriors play the Kings in 30 minutes. Like Steph could score 60 points, and then like he already is hot, but like okay, well in 2 ways. On the court, but
don't let Aisha hear
that. He could go crazy. It's really, Jason Tatum could be so many people. 10 games in, and there's a lot of games in an NBA season. People could go.
we'll have to have you back on later in the season. We'll have more cemented picks at that point. Let's real quick. I want to hear your thoughts on
talking about the Warriors.
The Warriors Celtics finals, because this is, as Celtics fans, you being a Warriors fan, like we're supposed to clash. Yeah, we're supposed to clash a little bit. We don't get a lot of Warriors perspectives. What were your thoughts on the finals? Do you think it was as dominant of a Warriors performance, or just the Celtics giving it away?
I think you guys tried. I think the Celtics tried, and it's really hard to defeat a dynasty, this great. I mean, the Warriors prevail. We always just seem to find that ring. So the Celtics did try, and it was cute. It was sweet. It was nice to have someone try, but unfortunately,
she called it cute.
Ended it in 6. Yeah.
Oh, she called it oh my God. The Celtics. All right. The Celtics gave that away. We had the nerves of the first finals. If we see you guys again this year, it's easily going to be the Celtics. I cannot imagine us losing 2 years in a row to that Warriors team.
I'm a Celtics fan, and I don't necessarily believe that will easily be to us. But I do think we beat you in 6. But it's.
Hey,
you didn't play.
We're doing pretty well right now.
I think the disrespect from places like ESPN was insane, saying that we had like a 14% chance of winning the finals against the Boston Celtics. Like, come on.
No, Boston Celtics. Put some respect on our name.
So I mean, you guys are, great, but 14%. The Golden State Warriors, okay?
Yeah, that was a little disrespectful.
That was a little crazy.
Winning chance in the NBA Finals. Like, that's not accurate or anything. And yes, it was a good fight. And like, the Celtics have, especially with this addition of Malcolm Brogdon, are scary. And I'm not saying that they're not. Like, they put up a fight. It was so fun to watch. But we came out on top, and you know what people are going to remember in 50 years? Not that the Boston Celtics put up a good fight. They're going to remember that Steph Curry got his 4th ring and sort of, won his place in the top 10 NBA players of all time. But that's
I just want to say, if we're currently we're in 3rd place versus 13th place. And we don't have our players.
You have a ring on your finger. I mean, I know you have 17, but that's from a while ago. Okay. In your guys' lifetime, you don't have a ring. I have 4. I'm 15.
Have one for my lifetime.
Okay, hypothetically, I am like I'm obviously not on the Warriors, but
we talk about
like that's something.
If we talk about some other sports, we have quite a few rings.
I don't care about other sports. It's basketball, that's just changing the subject.
Hey, you know what? I'm proud of you guys for now. Okay, somebody had to try and catch up to us at some point. 17 championships is a lot to try and get up to. So
we want to give the NBA the rest of the NBA a chance to catch up.
It's not fair. It's not fair to the rest of the guys. Just us and the Lakers just keep throwing jabs at each other. We gotta let the Warriors get their hooks in.
Hey, well, they're hooks in really, because they got people throwing hooks in practice. I'm sure that's what Deuce
Tatum said to his dad the night before the finals. I'm sure Deuce was like, "Dad, can you read me a bedtime story? And before you do that, let them win. It would be nice." I'm sure that's what
Deuce is an angel. I believe he would have done that.
He's a very cute kid.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Sloane. We really appreciate you coming on. Yeah, everyone go check out her podcast. She's got great stuff up there. You're definitely going to want to check it out. We appreciate you joining us. This was an awesome episode. Thank you.
If you guys want some bits and pieces of what Sloane has to offer, go check her out on TikTok. Yeah. Sloane knows. You can see all types of what she actually gets to go down with and see and talk about with some big names out there. And I enjoy watching them myself. So go check her out. Sloane, thanks for coming on. Great talking to you about sports. I think if we wait a little bit into a less of a little bit of sports talk to get into, we can get around 65-70 games. I think we could get into a better conversation about why the Celtics are better than the Warriors. But thank you for coming on. It was great talking to you about sports.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so everyone go check out our Instagram at @offbeat_sports and check us out on TikTok at offbeat sports, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great episodes like this. We will see you next time.
Call them all Texans.